Hello everyone. I don't normally show my face online, and I don't even know if people will watch this, but I'm probably going to have to stop collecting the Pokemon cards. Now, for clarification, Pokemon cards are one of the few things that brought me joy lately. I'm going to share a little bit on here. Again, I don't know if anyone will see this, but, a little bit of clarity can, I don't know, I guess, shed some light as to why the Pokemon cards were, worth it to me for a while. So I have psychosis. Basically what that is it means you can potentially see, hear, smell, feel, or, any of that, things that other people can't see. I've been dealing with it all my life. And one of my coping mechanisms that I kind of figured out on my own to kind of deal with my headmates is through having something I can physically hold and, touch and see, to ground myself sort of into reality, because if I can physically touch and hold something and see something, it kind of focuses my brain on what is actually real versus my visions. But, the cards were nice because I could, put them in slabs and discreetly have them in my pocket so that, I'm not disturbing anyone else while I'm out and about. And, it was a way to help, Well, I am in a low-income household. I get a little bit of disability through the Social Security Administration because I am severely disabled besides having psychosis, but that's what I wanted to bring up to kind of, give reason behind the Pokemon cards. It was a way for me to cope. But, I get a little bit of money allotted to me each month through Social Security. I have a lot of physical issues, and one of the things that the Pokemon cards were kind of helping me with a little bit, because my headmates have really been aggressively kind of, I guess the best way to describe it would be harassing me. Being loud, obnoxious, pretending to push things off of my shelves, telling me how much of a failure and a burden I am. The Pokemon cards were helping a little bit with that, but my headmates have been more aggressive over the past month, or I guess not really past month, more like the past 2 weeks, because I had to have a surgery. My genetics are not the best. I am female. I'm not an attractive female by any means. I know that. I had to have what is referred to as a pilonidal cleft lift surgery done because my anatomy caused me to get a cyst. I'm not going to elaborate where. You can look up pilonidal if you really want to know, or the actual procedure. I'm only sharing because it's really kind of, messed with my mental state and emotional state. The muscles I used to walk have been cut and reshapen to correct what went wrong. So I'm going to be healing for 6 weeks. 2 weeks have allotted at this point. give or take. I had the surgery on the 16th of April. So, and it's nearly May now, so you can do the math. But, you know, if you've had any surgeries similar to this, where they've had to, you know, essentially annihilate the muscles you use to walk and then rebuild them, you know, it's a lot. I have been forced to only lay on my side, and because of inflammation-based swelling, I can't really sit either. I have a drainage tube. I've been trying to, I guess, deal with it. I'll be getting that pulled out this Friday. But I have a long road to recovery ahead, and I know my previous videos have been mostly Pokemon related, but because I have a very tight income, I can't foreseeably purchase any more cards. The last two I might try to attempt to get before I call it quits and become a very, very depressed, more so than I already am, person, is the Art Lugia V, you know, one of the few that, you know, everyone seemed to pull from packs and everything else, and everyone was posting about it from Silver Tempest. I tried to buy a couple packs. No way in hell I was able to pull it that way. So I will be purchasing it from TCG Player in Chinese rather than English, because the absolute most I could have allotted to cards is about 150, and even that's excessive. So, you know, I normally get 350 a month through disability, and, you know, I obviously put my needs first, although technically, considering, because I've been dealing with psychosis all my life, the cards were part of my needs, but, you know, it's got to be on the chopping block. So, you know, I apologize. I'm probably not going to really be able to post any videos about the Pokemon cards anymore. I know barely anyone watches me, but I thought I'd explain. The only other thing besides the cards that really kind of kept me grounded is my cat, who I will say is doing better. He had his checkup with the maintenance stuff that I alluded to earlier in the month, or might have been closer to last month, but point still stands. He got his nails trimmed, he got his shot, and he's got a toothpaste and shampoo to kind of help with his teeth and his sensitive skin. But yeah, I love my cat, but he can only do so much. I've been miserable being unable to really walk like I used to, and I'm not even going to be able to actually, like, go out and walk. I had a accident that happened last year in October. I'm not going to allude much to that, just in case the lawyers have to be involved. But, yeah, it was bad, and I kind of, I guess, developed a fear of vehicles as a whole. But I'm going to have to rely on, you know, the medical ride company that I, you know, basically call upon for that kind of thing, you know, reluctantly, obviously, for probably the next month. 6 weeks is a chunk of time, so it's going to be hard for me to sit in vehicles for a while, let alone walk. So, yeah, sorry for the long video, but it's bad news. So, you know, I guess if you see it, cool. If not, then whatever. At least I tried to explain. it sucks being basically poor. Anyway, if you stayed till the end, cool, thanks. Otherwise, hope you have a great day, because I'm not.